Welcome back to another episode of the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. I am your host, Giovanni, and I am so excited for this episode, y'all. So we are already back with Coach Wells, mindset coach, Coach Wells with Multi-Venture Minds, and she's here to tell us about a new journey she just embarked on. And I can't be more proudful, but also humbled that she would like to come and share this journey right here on our podcast, the space that we all created, where we are transforming lives and empowering people to take healing into their own hands through the transformative power of food. But before we get into this episode, y'all already know what time it is. Vibe with me, y'all. Welcome to the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. Okay. Y'all, it's Coach Wells. She's back in the building. Make some noise. Yo, Coach Wells, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead. Let's just tap the glass. Let's get our hydration flowing. Come on. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Cheers to another episode. Yes. Y'all, it has been an absolute pleasure to bring back Coach Wells from Multi-Venture Minds, mindset coach, Reiki. Come on, yes. Practitioner.
All the things.
Got it right this time.
Yes.
You see me? Got it right this time. Health and wellness coach, but her specialty is in mindset. And we know, and Spencer knows, it is all starts in the mind. All starts
absolutely.
In the mind.
He was like, yeah, that. But I am just so excited to be here, and you are one of the first persons that I texted, that I reached out to and said, hey, this is what I'm doing, right? And
and I was so excited.
I was like, look, I'm
week
doing this
one
thing.
Is down. Week one in the bag.
Yeah. And this is week 2. And that was my excitement, reaching out because you need it, on this journey, because there's a lot of temptation. However, I had the best week ever the first week.
All right. Okay. So if you don't know what she's talking about, because we didn't even tell you what journey it was. So since we didn't tell you about the journey, here we go. Here's your first question, Coach Wells. As a mindset coach that has now finished week 1 of going plant-based one more time, what surprising or discoveries or realizations have you encountered in just your first week? And how do you envision these insights as it goes into your coaching methodologies? Talk to me.
So I would say this time around, it was the easiest. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, at first, like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. But it's, my first thought was, it's going to be rough. I'm going to have to do some research. I'm going to have to do this. And it was not the case this time. It was like very, I would say, like organic process, right? So I went, got a couple of vegetables.
Organic and process in the same plant-based sentence? Organic and process? Make it make sense. Break that down, Coach Wells. Organic and process.
Yeah, so just, it was easy. I didn't have to do a lot of research, right? This time around, because I know what to eat. We all know what to eat. When I was eating the unhealthy foods, it would be hard for me to eat my vegetables because they were plain and bland, right? So if you just have steamed vegetables, it's like, nah, I don't want any. But now, oh my goodness.
Ooh-wee.
It's like, yo.
Talk to me.
So it was really good. So I'll start off this way and saying first, I had a health scare, right? So you know how it is. People hard-headed, right? Hard-headed. So I went to my doctor and he told me that I had no, was it elevated cholesterol? Okay. And this is the second time he said it, right? This year. And I told him, hey, I don't want to take any medication. Let's see if I can, turn it around myself. So he's like, okay, go ahead and give it a try. So
Did he
I
give you any
faked.
like special like direction on how to do it your way, how
Oh
to try to
man,
do it naturally? He didn't tell you
no,
anything. He just said, okay.
no, no, no. He said, okay,
Okay.
you know what they do. So, however, so
I
I
was
went
just trying to give him
home.
the benefit of the doubt because this is the
Yeah.
second time and you're being
And
intentional
then, yes,
about addressing what he's telling you is an issue that's happening in your body. And as
yes.
the professional that
Hmm.
diagnosed you with this and telling you that there's a problem,
Hmm.
I would have hoped that he guided your ways of going to heal yourself naturally without taking the medicine that he wanted you to take just quite yet. Like in any type of insight, I was hoping he would, but I was given
No,
the benefit of that. Go ahead, Coach Wells. So he
no.
didn't tell you anything.
No, they just, he said, diet is, the main reason why someone would have, you know, um,
High
elevated
cholesterol.
cholesterol, right? So, and heredity on my part, possibly. But I know what I was doing, right?
Right.
I would say I had a somewhat healthy diet, but, you know, the numbers don't lie at the end of the day.
They don't.
So,
And let's just take it back just a little bit. If you haven't seen that episode with Coach Wells, definitely go back and run that episode at back. But she talked about her father had being
mhm.
diagnosed. Was it diabetes, Coach Wells?
Diabetes, girl, everything. Yes, but mainly diabetes. Yes.
Okay. And
So
so I
that
just wanted
was
you to know
no.
when she talks about hereditary things that kind of plague her family, I just wanted you to know
Mhm,
that that was something that was very
mhm.
heartwarming for her to start taking her health serious, seeing her father struggle with his own health disparity. So I just wanted to make sure, in case you didn't know, give you just a little insight on Coach Wells. Go ahead, Coach Wells.
Yes. So with that, I thought about it and, getting older, just being inactive, I was like, you know what? Let me do this right. So let me go ahead and go back to my regular diet of, an abundance amount of vegetables, right? Because I know what it does, right? I know. So stop being hard headed. And then, yeah, I did it the first week and it was like, it's easier this time, right? And it was like every meal I made for myself was like amazing, right?
Okay,
You know
so
how regular,
don't do that. Don't be vague with it. This is called empowered plates,
look,
empowered lives. Before our lives are going to be empowered, we need to know what's on those plates. So talk to us a little about this meal
let
prep
me
and planning.
let me tell you what I discovered, okay?
Come on,
That
come on.
blew my mind.
I'm
Lion's
listening.
mane. Lion's
Dope.
mane. So your girl found out about lion's mane. Where I'm like, let me check that out. Okay. Because I was like, all I'm looking for is texture. Okay, let's go. Watched a
Texture and
couple of
flavor because
videos.
you can get the same flavor because you're using the same
Exactly.
seasonings that you would put on flesh that you could put on vegetables. So come on, talk that talk.
Well, I found lion's mane after I went to maybe 4 or 5 different stores. I finally found it. And I just bought like a couple of packs. Like, look,
Whatever
went
it is, let
home.
me get it and let me try it.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing. Like the texture was crazy, right? Like steak to me. Okay. Let me tell you what I did because I'm so proud of myself, right?
Come on,
So
come on.
to mimic a steak, I soaked it in beet juice and liquid
Mm.
aminos and a little bit of diced garlic. Okay. I soaked it.
How'd you get the beet
Girl,
juice? Did you juice a beet, or did you
no, I
automatically
used
buy it from the
well,
store?
beet
Beet
juice
juice from the
bought I purchased what yeah. So we had that on hand already, just
store.
some
Okay,
organic beet juice.
okay.
So yeah, so I soaked it in the beet juice, girl. Yes, it looks weird at first, but
Uh-huh.
let me tell you, I'm just like, oh wow,
So
amazing.
cocoa
So
aminos, because I know you said liquid aminos. I'd use cocoa aminos. So cocoa
okay,
aminos, beet juice, and what was the other thing?
and minced garlic.
Minced
Just
garlic. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Talk that
and
talk. I'm
that was
listening. I'm listening.
let that soak for about 10 minutes, and then I pressed out a little bit of juice and just put it in. I think we used grapeseed oil. Girl,
Nice.
squeezed all of the liquid out. It took, I mean, it was labor intensive, but it was so worth it.
So when you
So
squeezed
worth
it, did
it.
you just use that presser thing, that steel presser
Yes,
that
I
people
did.
use?
Hmm.
You pressed it
Hmm.
out in the pan itself while you were cooking
I
it,
put
or
it out
you
in
did
the
it before
pan.
you cooked it? You
No,
did it in
wh-
the pan. You just
um,
kept pressing
while
while
I was
cooking.
in the pan, and I kept pressing, kept turning it over, kept flipping it, and
You
pressing,
got my mouth.
pressing, and then it was amazing. And I had that with cauliflower rice that I had made myself,
Okay.
and I had kale, a huge, not kale, I had a collard leaf, a huge collard leaf that I had massaged with lemon juice. Girl, wrapped
Did you
it
cook
up.
the collards or did you keep it raw?
No, it was raw. It was raw.
Oh,
So just the lemon
oh
juice,
well.
kind of, you know, I would say not cooked it, but it made it tender. It made the leaf tender and easier to eat.
Okay.
So that was like I had that maybe 3 times last week, right? Because it was a winner. It was a winner. It was amazing. So that was my first week. And let me tell you this, I have to say it. I told my husband I was so excited about what I had. And I told my husband, "Hey, I got something for you. I want to make you something." And he's like, "What is it?" I told him, I said, "I don't know. I just created it. Just just eat it." But he was just like, "It's good. Like it's really, really good." And he's a big meat eater. Okay. So we had, I called it like a burrito, but he had one and then my daughter had one. I mean, it was good. It was just
So do you
amazing.
then
Good.
put it inside of a burrito? So one time you
Yes.
had it just as a regular steak with
Yes.
the massaged kale
Yes. Yes.
and
Gotta
well, not
massage
kale,
it.
collards, massaged
Yeah.
collard greens. You talked about the kale on
Mhm.
the other episode. So massaged collard, and it was one other thing you
Mhm.
had on the plate. Oh, the cauliflower rice. How do you prepare your cauliflower
Cauliflower.
rice? Because we talked about cauliflower rice on my live. So every Thursday on YouTube, I go live with the wellness series, Herbal Tea Thursdays with Shireen with Black Print
Okay.
Calm. And so she was talking about we did a cleanse last week, a 3-day cleanse. Mine was high
Okay.
fiber, so a high fiber cleanse, and hers was on like a high water
Mhm.
fruits and vegetable type of cleanse. And she made cauliflower rice, and she said she made hers like it got that nice hard rice texture, and it's because she
Yes.
just kept cooking it and cooking it over. And I can never get that texture. Like I get the frozen kind from Sam's, but I can
Okay.
never
Okay.
get that rice texture as like the restaurants can do to make it look or be anywhere close to giving me the rice texture that I'm looking for. So it's just kind of like I just be like, I'm all right with it unless I get it from a
Yeah.
restaurant. I don't even try to cook it anymore. But how did you prepare your cauliflower rice to be just as good? Because you said you came out with nothing but bangers your first week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised myself. I'm surprised. So I thought I would have more fails, but I did not. So the cauliflower rice, I actually just asked Alexa. I was like, "Hey Alexa, how do you make cauliflower rice?" So the
So Alexa
recipe,
came through.
Alexa
Is
found
that
for
what you're
me.
telling me?
Yes,
Alexa came
she
through?
came through. Yeah, and if I needed it repeated, she would repeat it back to me. So I did,
You
I
Chef
took the,
Alexa.
I took fresh cauliflower, okay, and then
Okay,
I
so you
just
went
broke
fresh.
off.
You didn't
Oh,
get frozen. Okay.
yes. Oh, girl, no. So I had
I'm
time on my hands.
listening.
I was gonna do this right.
Okay.
So took the florets apart, washed them, and then all I did was to post them in the food processor into tiny pieces. Okay, that was it. Then I put them in a skillet. I put a little bit of olive oil. And then in my mind, even though Alexa didn't say so, I put a little bit of water, right? Because
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. You
Just put
thought
a little
Alexa was
water.
slipping? Or you just felt like the ancestors were
I
telling
just
you dab a little
felt
water?
like it needed a little water, okay?
Okay.
It
Okay.
just needed a little water. So I did that, and I cannot cumin. It told me to add a
Mhm.
little bit of cumin and salt, and that was it. That was it. So I just
Stop right there, Coach
yeah.
Wells. Stop right there. Cumin is a game changer. And I had no idea it was until, let me take that back, because we're not doing game changers no more. We're doing life
Come on.
changing.
Come
So
on.
cumin was life changing.
Mhm.
Why? I have no idea, but Chef Maul talked about it when I was at the podcast summit, and I interviewed him. So I think he's episode 4 of this podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
But he talked about adding cumin to his seasoning repertoire when he's seasoning up
Mhm.
things. And
Mhm.
that's when I really realized that we're not going after the flesh. We're really going after taste and texture that are familiar to us when we're transitioning our lifestyles and when we're trying
Mhm.
to eat good and make sure that what we're eating is good for us and to us. And that cumin, like Coach Wells, I'll put that cumin on anything. I promise you, that cumin is just as important as that garlic powder and that onion powder and a black
It is.
cap.
It
And I'm
is.
just and
It
I'm
is.
just straight no chaser. Like that, that's just what it is. And I just get that thing going just as much. Like it's going to get the love. And I don't even care. Like it just gives a different even aroma in the kitchen while
It
it's cooking. When I
elevates.
boil noodles, like even cooking noodles, I'm putting cumin in the water with the garlic, with the powder. No more
Wow.
days of just salt in your water to leaven up
See,
that. Like,
I didn't even
no.
think about that, but yeah, I will definitely try that.
I
Like
have
even just
to,
putting it
because
in the
those
water.
gluten-free noodles, like you can know that the gluten is missing in gluten-free noodles. So you have to crumb with whatever
Mhm.
flavors you can. And now I'm just feeling like my food is so herbally. Like I feel like it tastes even better than when I was eating food that was dairy or with meat, because most of the time all we're thinking about is like salt, pepper, other things. But when you go plant-based, you really try to elevate your experience. And I feel like sometimes it's better than what we're used to because we're so intentional on taking a different approach or making sure it is like good for the soul. Like literally.
And like what you just said, it sparks that creativity inside of me. Like, oh, this is fun. And yeah, it is better than the food I was eating before, right? Like compared to what I have now, that was bland when I think about it. It was like, it's like, huh? And I liked it, like, huh? But it's like now, it's like, it's like, wow, like I really elevated my food. So
I knew
now it's
nothing
like
about it.
tons of layers to my food now. Like
Agreed.
before, if I had just meal, it would be like maybe a couple of nuts and some fruit. Now, oh my goodness, girl, your girl is excited about oatmeal. So it got the hemp seeds. It had maybe 3 or 4 different types of nuts along with my fruit. So, girl, like I'm saying, just many, many layers to my meals. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it feels like I'm treating myself every day.
And that's what I think it should be. Because I feel
Mhm.
like if we're truly being intentional about being intentional and taking care of ourselves, it goes with every decision that we make. Whether it's a relationship with food, whether it's a relationship with a person, whether it's an environment that we choose to be in, whether it's a decision on how we plan to heal what we feel it needs adjusting in our life. And I think what you just said is powerful, because I feel like people think they take lightly to the decisions they make about what they consume, because most of the time they're not making the conscious decision mindfully on what they're eating. They're just going off of what they crave, what's convenient. And it's just something about good food, like, and it's not
And
even to the point where we're sitting here and bashing or talking about all the food that the US is allowing us to eat that's banned in other countries. We're literally just talking about eating good food. And it's like,
right.
why is that even a thing to have to talk about? It's
Mhm.
because it's
Mhm.
good food that's good for you. Like when you're a
Right.
plate as a people, as a culture, with so many health disparities, you have to find a way out of it. Like you have to find, you can't just keep staying stuck in the same systematic approach that's coming after you and coming after your loved ones. Like you have to take a pivot. You need to take a change when you're ready. Don't take it until you're ready, because when you're ready, it's going to be something that you're truly going to be serious about and embrace it. Look at you here today. Like you've done this
Mhm.
before. But even if you go back and listen to Coach Wells' podcast episode, when she did it before, it wasn't all of these Black content creators on social media showing you all the different ways that they've elevated and transformed plant-based food and how it's so good for you and good to eat. And then it was also the restaurants and what was around. You heard her say she had to go to 4 different stores just to find lion's mane. We can barely, I found it one time.
Yeah.
And before we were able to actually even use it all, it was already bad. So we didn't even get the whole full experience of being able to use the lion's mane, the little bit that we did find that was scarce in the store. Now, oyster mushrooms, again, sometimes a scarce commodity. You're not going to find that in
Mhm.
every single store, but those oyster mushrooms, that is
Yeah.
our chicken. That is our fried
Yeah.
chicken
Yeah.
sandwich, chicken, whatever we want to be. That fried oyster mushroom gives us the texture that we're looking for, of something that we're similar to us. And all we have to do is season it the way we want it to be seasoned to give us that taste, because the texture is going to be there. And so when we're talking about embracing this lifestyle, it just takes a decision, an intentional decision, and you have to be all in for it. And you can't be looking at food to replace something. You just have to
Mhm.
embrace, don't replace, but embrace a food experience every time you put something together, just like you would have if it was something that you already was used to in the first place. So don't think replace, think embrace. Embrace the lifestyle, embrace the plant-based food, embrace the non-guilty eating. Like just embrace it. Like I'm just excited for you, because I just feel like now that you're on the journey again, and you're even
Mhm.
having family members like your husband try, and it is really good. The goal is just to eat good food. It's not to transform
Right.
everyone around you to be a believer that plant-based food is for
Mhm.
them. No, it's for you
Mhm.
to let people know
It's
that this food is good for you. It has high nutritional value, and it's not going to continue to be in dis-ease or discomfort in what it is that you might be going through in your life, from mindset, come on, Coach Wells, to even physical
Mhm.
body. But it takes, like you said, knowing your numbers, and it takes hearing a diagnosis that's been placed on over you
Mhm.
in a room or setting that says, hey, do I want to accept this, or do I want to
Mhm.
find a way to make sure this gets out of me? Because I'm not going to be in denial about what my body is telling based on the labs. I want to be intentional, and I want to be forthright on how I navigate hearing this news, but not
Mhm.
accepting and internalizing this news into how I'm going to now do what I can to help myself. And I think that's what matters most, is how are you helping yourself? That's key for me. So when you talk about meal prep and planning, so you was ready to try that lion's mane, and man, they have some really good recipes out there with
Blew my
that lion.
mind.
What else do you feel like is helping you be successful with meal prepping and planning for you to be able to knock week 1 out with flying colors? Like what are the strategies? If there's someone who's
Really,
interested in going plant-based, what would be some of those strategies you would use or encourage people to take in order to go plant-based?
yeah, what I would say is, it does sound cliche. However, it is about your mindset at the end of the day, making a choice and knowing that you have everything that you need at your disposal. Okay. Because I believe that, right? So, when are making a health choice in the beginning, you think, okay, I have to go out and buy this, that, and the third, and I need this and I want this. Um, but I sat there and said, okay, what do I have already that I can prepare these meals? Like, without me going out and buying anything, what can I do? And let me create a recipe if I don't have those ingredients that, you know, say a content creator had. So I just kind of, okay, so he had this, but I'm going to choose to do this because I already have that. I'm not going out to buy it. So that strategy has served me very well. And just looking at what I already have before I go out wanting to buy, everything, that they say, hey, try this, try that. No, it's like, no, I'm going to make, if I need texture, I don't want to buy any processed meat that's vegan. I can make it myself. So what will give me that texture? What? So that was my strategy. And meal prep, like just prepping it ahead of time. Like that is like the biggest game changer. And a lot of those foods last a long time. So I think this Saturday I made nacho, I guess you call it nacho cheese. I have a big mason jar. Now, do I really need the big mason jar of nacho cheese? Probably not. However, I've been putting it on everything.
You making it though. You surviving. Yeah. You doing what you got to do because like, it's on hand. It's on hand.
Yeah. So a big old mason jar of cheese. So I put everything, burgers, like whatever I have, I just put the cheese on it because it tastes like cheese. So easy.
Did you make it?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't just skim over this mason jar of this bomb behind nacho cheese that goes on everything. Talk to us about what you and Alexa holding back. Tell us about this nacho cheese.
So I got this on TikTok, TikTok.
Okay.
This is young lady on there. It looked pretty easy. So it was potato, carrots, and I think she used, it was very simple, salt and something else, right?
Was it turmeric?
Turmeric.
Okay.
That's what she used.
I know sometimes they use that for the for like the color.
Yeah. So she used turmeric. So I boiled the vegetables and then I put that into my food processor and then added the turmeric and all that. But it was bland. It was like, ugh, like.
Girl, I saw a video before on cheese, and me and my mama saw it, and we was like, "Oh, this is so nasty." And we just kept trying to put everything in it to bring it to life. And we were still like, It don't look like how they make it sound on social media.
Because it was, girl, I'm telling you, it was bland, and I was just like, "Nah, that's not it." So what I did was I added, girl, minced garlic will set anything off. So I had.
That's what I'm hearing because you had it in your steak.
Girl, so I have minced, I put a couple of things in. So it was minced garlic and what else? Oh shoot, it's at the tip of my tongue.
Go ahead. I'm about to write it down.
You know what? It tastes cheesy, right?
The nutritional yeast that people use?
Yes.
Okay.
So I put nutritional yeast in there, more salt, and I think that was it. But that really kicked. Oh, lemon juice, because it gave it that, that sour taste. That was a winner right there.
So carrot, potatoes, turmeric, minced garlic,
nutritional yeast,
and lemon juice.
That was it. Yeah, lemon juice.
Okay. And a mason jar filled of nacho cheese. That's your Coach Wells nacho cheese recipe that goes on anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I think that's good. I love it because I feel like people underestimate the power of meal prep and planning. And when you don't plan, that's your plan to fail. There you go, to fail. And I hate to say that, but that's in mostly anything. When you try to wing it, it's not going to work like that, especially when there's so many limited choices you can get when you are out on the go. So conveniently just trying to purchase things. But you have to know, you have to have your staple restaurants on things that you know you can go and get when you are in a bind or you're traveling or you're hungry and you want to get something to eat and you want to just starve or just say, hey, I'm just getting water, other than just a salad. So there are options out there where you can create a plant-based meal wherever you go most of the time if they have options for you to do that. But when you're really wanting to be successful, you really want to plan out your meals, and you also want to be intentional on how you're getting in what nutrients. Plant-based is not just not eating meat and not eating dairy. It's being intentional
Mhm.
on what fruits, what vegetables you are consuming, knowing what that is going to do for your body, how it's going to heal your body, how it's going to help manage your symptoms, how it's going to decrease whatever diagnosis you might have been,
Mhm.
you know, diagnosed with. So I feel like sometimes most people look at plant-based and they think about all the things they can't have, and they're not embracing all of the nutritional value that they're now intaking by being on this journey. And even
Mhm.
in, let's just be honest, Coach Wells, you haven't failed at being plant-based this week. But let's say you had a moment where you ate something that wasn't all plant-based. Do you feel like you would then just say, oh, well, I messed up on this plant-based journey, I'm no longer sticking to it, I'm just going to go back to how I was living?
Absolutely not.
Because
So,
that's not the goal. The goal isn't
yeah.
to be perfect. The goal is just to
Right.
be more intentional about consuming more fruits and vegetables, so you're helping your body heal and you're still enjoying your food experiences. That's all it was. I just wanted to throw
That's
it up to
yeah.
you so you can slam dunk it down, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's what I want people to realize. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to be perfect. I don't want you to feel like you have to be in a plant-based box. I just want
Mhm.
you to be intentional about being intentional and be empowered
Mhm.
about taking
Mhm.
your life in your own hands, as well as your health and your well-being, and
Mhm.
choosing what works best for you. It doesn't have to be plant-based like we are. Again, like I told
Right.
you before, it's my healing, my journey. Your healing, your journey. Coach
Mhm.
Wells
Mhm.
healing, her journey. She's been
Mhm.
plant-based, made transitions, went back to eating other things that she felt like she enjoyed and wanted to eat, and now she's embracing this plant-based journey. She got a diagnosis. She said, you know what, I know how to do better. I know how I can
Mhm.
lower these elevated numbers, and so I'm doing that by food, I'm doing it by movement, I'm doing it by mindset. And so what I want to ask you is, when someone is considering a plant-based journey, what type of mindset shifts or challenges should they be mindful of or considerate of, to be able to cope with
Mhm.
this journey and what it takes?
Yeah, that's right. You know what you mentioned about not being perfect, because it's not like, I say a club or some, like there's going to be a police or somebody to monitor you on this journey. Make mistakes, be okay with those mistakes. Take notes and monitor how you felt after you had it, right? Because everyone's journey is different, right? So just see if you're, hey, are you able to tolerate dairy? Take those notes. Um, but be okay with, making a couple of mistakes. That's okay. And ultimately eat what is good for you. In your as far as mindset is concerned, sometimes, like, I haven't had it just yet, but it can be a struggle, right? Because you'll say, "Ooh, I want this," or "Ooh, I want that." Something that you've had in the past that may be comforting to you. But I would say know that that will come up. It will, because that's just how life is. Have a plan, right? Like, my big go-to is meditation. And that's just to check in with my body to see what I really need. Because most of the time, it's not the sugar, it's not the salt, it's something going on mentally, and we choose to eat that thing just to comfort ourselves. So have something on hand, something that like a contemplation during that time. I know it sounds weird, but really, it doesn't last very long, right? So you say, "Ooh, I want this." Really, if you are intentional about it, think about it, it will go away. Just give it time, but
Agreed.
really think about it. Like, why? Like, why do I
I,
want it? It's like, "Nah,
I
that's okay."
love that. I love that. Asking yourself why. Why do I really want it? So you can then get to the
Mhm.
root cause of what it is mentally or emotionally that you're really being faced with, that's underneath this this comfort food craving that you're currently going through. And I think that's
Yeah.
powerful right there. And I hope no one misses that. And what triggered at first when you said it was one, I thought about my brother the other day when he was talking about trying something on Tamale Day. And I think he said it had a lot of milk in it. And he really wasn't really excited about it because milk really makes his stomach hurt. And I like that because he's moving more plant-based when it comes to his milk, when it comes to dairy. So he's more like oat milk type of person. He'll continue to get that. That's not stopping him from the cheese and everything else and the meat and all of that. But the fact that he's tired of his stomach hurting and he knows that experience because of the milk, he's not consuming as much of the things that he would have, knowing how it makes him feel. Another one of my friends craving for ice cream. Oh, I really want some ice cream. I really want some ice cream. But as she continues to make this lifestyle change and be consistent on it, she knows that the ice cream is not going to necessarily make her body feel the best. And it's probably not going to allow her menstrual cycles to be as good as it is now that she's shifted from being off of dairy as well. And then it made me think of my coaching client who just finished week 1. So you just finished week 1 being plant-based. She just finished week 1 with me in my 8-week program. And she has a thing for Reese's. And she can't get to those Reese's. Like, we set a high goal for physical activity before she can get to those Reese's. And she had 2 rough days. So she had 2 moments where she told me yesterday that she had to positively self-talk her out of those Reese's. And the first time, she did the deep breathing techniques that I taught her. And she really just got still and, just realized what all it was and was like, I don't necessarily really need those Reese's. And she started thinking about something else. And then the second time, it was at night. She was like, I'm just going to go to bed. Just like you said, it doesn't last long. So if you just go get in the bed, and you're not taking the Reese's with you in the bed, you're not going to eat it. You're going to go to sleep and you're going to move on and you're going to embrace something else. But I love the fact that you talked about meditation and that meditation helping you make the shift to now focus on your mental health and not your physical health, thinking how much you really want something that you don't necessarily need. You're just trying to deny the opportunity to address a certain trigger that you really need, which is underneath that hunger craving. And I think mindful eating is a big thing. But when you think about mindfulness and you think about your Reiki practice, how do you feel like that helps you along on this journey of being plant-based?
It's a huge part of it, right? It's huge. Like, I have been, working on my mindset for, a long time. However, if you're still alive, we have something to work on, right? So when we have these things that come up in ourselves, then we need to give it attention, right? Like, either you give it attention and understand what it is, or there's going to be something that happens to you that is going to force you to look at it. So for me, I would rather look at it on my own and say, what is this thing, rather than to be forced through illness and something that may not be reversible, or, no, I don't want to put, like, I'll listen. Let me listen to my body. Let me be aware of what it's feeling right now and actually what it needs. So mindset is of like you have to practice it. It just, you don't wake up and then, oh, I'm vegan. No, it's a daily thing in what you choose to do.
It's a daily decision that you choose.
It's a daily decision. And I do have
not just yourself today, but your future self as well. Like, I always say that, because like you said, you don't want to be forced. So you don't want to continue to have behaviors today that is going to force you to be in a position where you feel backed up and backed in a wall, to where now it's a huge ordeal that it's a slim chance that you may not be able to pivot because you backed yourself into a wall. You've done things that you haven't agreed. So what bringing in that Reiki practice though, how does that help your decision making? You talked about mindset, you talked about working on that. How does the Reiki practice help shape how you're able to make these decisions and embrace them the way that you're able to embrace them?
And that's a good question, but Reiki would be, the way I see it is, I'm usually helping someone else, right?
Mhm.
So I don't perform Reiki on myself. It's just being mindful about what I do. But however, like I did make a joke one day about seeing a Reiki practitioner for myself. But I said, if the Reiki practitioner is not vegan or vegetarian, I'm not gonna, let her touch.
You said that in our episode. You said in the previous episode.
Did
That's why I
I?
was asking, because you were like, if my Reiki practitioner just had McDonald's before she came into my session, I don't want that. So that's why I'm asking you, how does that
Yeah,
come in
like
alignment? Because
that.
before a week
Absolutely.
ago, you
Yeah.
you weren't plant-based. So now you're thinking about how
Yeah.
you're showing up
Yeah.
for your, just like how
How
you're
you're
talking about.
showing up
So
for
that's
other
what I'm
people.
asking. Like, tell
And
me, how does it
I had
shape that journey now?
and I and I had forgot that I had said that, but that is so true. And I am so serious about it too.
Mhm.
When
You were,
you
because I was like, I
know.
had no idea.
So, just even like someone who is in the ministry, I do believe that they do have to practice mindset and be mindful and be able to, eat in a healthy way before you're ministering to someone. So for me, Reiki, I'm ministering to someone. So for me to be able to be on a plant-based diet, and those plants are feeding all of my cells and energizing my body, and helping me to think clearly, that is, a bonus to my clients, if that makes sense.
It makes
So
perfect sense.
mhm,
Have
yep.
you seen any of the health benefits or the energy shifting within yourself over the past week?
Yeah, the energy shifted immediately. So I would say the first day, I really like
Whoa,
saw
tell
it.
us about it.
Yeah.
Talk
So
to me
like
about that.
after my meal, I know that and usually now I eat twice a day because I'm so full from my meals, because there's a lot of fiber, right? So it's like I can go longer without having those snacks, which before, girl, I would eat snacks all day long. So now it's like, I'm not even hungry. Well, you know how it is because you've been doing it a little longer than me, but that's the way I feel. Like, wow, like I'm not even eating as much as because I'm full. Like, ooh, I'm like, ooh, child, that was good.
I think for me, it helps because I juice. So I feel like getting 24 ounces of juice to start my day off, then going into a lunch, then might be getting like another meal when I get home. I'm good. But
Yeah.
when I did go with the whole like high fiber, when I did the high fiber cleanse last week for 3 days, I could
Hmm.
definitely feel the shift. My issue is the area that I need to work on is hydration. And I see you're turning up right
Hmm.
now. That is the biggest thing for me, because I can drink a juice like it's nothing. But when it comes to
Right.
like coconut water, I don't have my Harmless Harvest coconut water. It's expensive. So having that on deck all day, every day,
Mm-hmm.
that's taxing.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not there yet. And some people talk
Right.
about like how expensive the lifestyle can be. And you have to, like you said before, find what you do have. Yes, I do have
Find
filter
what.
water,
Right.
but I'm not a huge
Yeah.
water person, so I'm not craving
Yeah.
and really consuming all of this filtered
Hmm.
water. I
Right.
want to stay away from plastic water bottles, because with
Hmm.
polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, they say a lot of those plastic toxins and environmental factors getting into you, that triggers more of those issues, more of those cysts. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to really make that shift to get away from the plastic. But what does all our water come in America? Plastic water
Yeah.
bottles. So now I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
now I need to find a canned water source, even if it's not the canned coconut water that I like and I love, that I looked and won't get here till January. I can't not have
Yeah.
water till January, but
Right.
I need to
Right.
find a good canned water source so I can start
Hmm.
consuming more water, because hydration is key on any type of
It is.
lifestyle you're on. And I don't want
Mhm.
us to, keep using the D word for diet, but
Mhm.
just consuming whatever, water is important. That's why you
Yeah.
get a lot of water out of your fruits and your veggies when you're in this plant-based lifestyle, but consuming
Mhm.
as much of it as possible is key. I'm not sitting
Yeah.
around here with fruit all day. I'm not eating a
Yeah.
whole bunch of fruit all day, every day.
Mhm.
Maybe if I'm on a watermelon cleanse and I'm getting it in,
Mhm.
or, cucumbers, but I'm not eating it every single day, especially if I just drank 24 ounces of some cucumber and grape juice, or,
Right.
some cucumber pineapple juice. I've already had it. I'll come back one more
Mhm.
time for the cucumbers, but I'm not about to eat that all day. And then think about
Right.
trying to what I'm eating tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because you want diversity. You definitely want
Yes.
diversity. So I definitely have to work on the water. But tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more on this energy shift, day one.
Yeah. The energy, like I said, it's been really good. And I usually crash during the day about this time, actually, usually about 7 o'clock.
You
I'm
don't look
usually
like you
like ready.
crashing.
No. So I'm usually
Still
ready
glowing and
to
all.
shower and get, my bed clothes on and go to bed. So I can see like I'm up more. So having more energy again, like you said, like water, just drinking a lot of water. See, I'm cheap. I don't buy a lot of juices, and I do have a juicer, which I juice from time to time. But this is the easiest thing for me is just to fill up my water bottle. And one thing that we do, we're in the South, so we have a couple of natural springs around here. So we'll go and fill up our huge containers and just drink off of that for a couple of weeks, right? And
My
it's
cousin does
free.
the same thing. She does the same thing. She goes to this spring and gets that natural water. I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness. I wonder if they have some out here in Texas, someplace that's close by. That could
Look
be
it
something
up.
I could
Yeah.
possibly look into
Mhm.
to see about doing it that way. But my cousin,
Mhm.
she's in Sumter, but she goes someplace nearby, and it's not in Sumter, and she goes and fills hers up.
Blackville,
Her
Blackville, South Carolina.
it might just be that. And so like
Yeah.
she definitely talked to me about getting hers from there. And I just wondered what it even tastes like, let alone what that experience would be. It sounds grounding. It definitely
It's
sounds grounding.
it's worth the taste or the trip, because I think we go about an hour and 45 minutes to get it. But it's think of water that's soft and like
Uh-huh.
slightly like a sweet taste almost, just
Okay.
very soft. And it's
Okay.
bubbling out of the ground.
And
It's out
everybody's
of the
just
ground.
coming and scooping it up.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
There's like a spigot, like, and it's very primitive the way it's set up. But yeah, you just put it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing.
I'm with
Mm.
I'm with it. I like it. All right.
Mhm.
So how do you feel about sustaining this lifestyle? Like, in what ways do you believe a plant-based lifestyle is going to allow you to really continue to make milestones, be able to see those levels decrease that are now elevated within your body? How do you feel like your Reiki practice? How do you feel like showing up as a mom, as a wife on this plant-based lifestyle? How do you feel like you're going to sustain this long term? What do you feel like you're going to be able to implement in order to continue this journey with all of the, let's say, compassion and
Mhm.
intentionality that you have behind
Mhm.
it?
One thing that I can say to that is to take it day by day. Um, for me, not overwhelming myself with, oh, what am I going to eat for dinner? Or what am I going to eat for breakfast? Just take it easy. Like, it's
Take it
okay.
easy.
Yeah.
Relax
Just
yourself. I think that was a
like,
cheer that somebody used to say, but I just love
like
it.
it's not, yeah, it's like not as serious as, I, make it out to be sometimes. It's just like, you're okay. Yes, it's good to plan, but if you didn't plan that day, like this morning, I didn't wake up in enough time to fix my breakfast. So it's like, you know what? There's lots of places that sells oatmeal, and I don't have, like, just give me some apples and I'll be, I'm good. So I found what I needed, and that was it. So it's not
As
like,
complicated as people make it
yeah,
out to
and don't stress over it either, like, that
be.
consumes my every thought, like, "What am I gonna eat?" No, I prepared my meal, and that's the huge thing that I think I'm gonna be able to sustain it, is just to, meal prep as much as I can, and if not, just knowing where I can go and having, those snacks on hand, and staying hydrated. Because that's one of the things, like when you get hungry, like, oh my gosh, what? And, being in the South, there's not a lot of healthy restaurants. So if I know this, prepare, you know?
Agree. And
Sometimes
I love
instead
that
of
you
going
said that.
to a, restaurant, go to the grocery store instead of the restaurant. So don't complain, "Oh, they don't have healthy food." Just go to the grocery store.
And
Just
I'm
go
one to
just
not stay in the kitchen long. Like I do not like to stay in the kitchen long. So I am going to be one of those people who will quickly throw something together or let the equipment in the kitchen throw something together over a long time where I don't have to be in there. Like I am the queen of throwing something in the crock pot and just hope it turns out good. And
That's
more
right.
than likely it's going to turn out okay.
It's
So
gonna turn out
crock
right.
pot, do
Mhm.
something over here, try to do something else, maybe throw something with a little pasta or something going with it, or maybe some vegetables and throw the quinoa in the rice cooker. So it's keeping it simple for yourself, but making sure it's
Right.
still delicious. And like you said, don't necessarily focus on the restaurants, go to the grocery store. Be mindful of
Mhm.
what it is that you're consuming, because a lot of times in restaurants, even when I'm asking what all is in something, most of the time they don't even know what's in it. So if you really, a lot of times when you're plant-based, you're more conscious of what you're consuming and you're making a conscious decision on the foods that you're eating. So you want to know more about where your food is either coming from or what's actually all in the dish, so you'll know
That's right.
what you're eating. And so it's easier when you're getting it yourself to know what's happening and what's going on. So I like that you said keep it simple. And you can do that. Like it doesn't take much.
Mhm.
And it's not always just salads, but salads are quick, especially if
Mhm.
you like a good
Mhm.
salad. But just like you said
Yes.
too, vegetables, cooking vegetables, you're not even supposed to cook vegetables long, even if you're on a cooked
Mhm.
type of vibe. Like even you said before on
Mhm.
the podcast, um, putting a little dressing or some stuff, tossing your kale into things and letting it
Mhm.
marinate and eat that. You
Mhm.
didn't cook your
Mhm.
kale. You just gave it a
Right.
good massage with some nice ingredients
Right.
in your
Mhm.
kitchen, and that kale was ready to eat.
That's
Those
right.
collards that you were talking about that went along with your lion's mane steak, like
Mhm.
you didn't cook those either. You gave that thing a little tenderize, a little massage,
Yes.
and you smashed
Mhm.
those collards. Like I feel like
Exactly.
people underestimate the power of making simple, good
Yes.
food right from their home
Mhm.
that doesn't take, like you said, a whole bunch of other ingredients that you see on social media that they tell you need to have, or a whole bunch of gadgets that they say you need to
And you
have
don't.
in
And
order
you
to
don't.
create it.
Yeah.
You don't need
That's
all
right.
of that. And like you said before, a lot of times it's the hydration that you need more so than it is a whole bunch of food. But keeping the
Mhm.
snacks, the proper snacks on hand,
Mhm.
and being with the less processed foods, I think that's what matters most. So right now, in my Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives Healing Community Facebook group, we're on day one of our 12 days
Mhm.
of wellness challenge. And it was just having one plant-based meal today. So it was mindful meal prep and just have one plant-based
Mhm.
meal. So I'm excited to tap in and see exactly what people made today as their one mindful plant-based meal, or even what they bought
Yeah.
today for their
Mhm. Right.
mindful plant-based
Right.
meal, and if they enjoyed it. Because again, you can really get some good plant-based meals from it. You can go to the Jamaican restaurant and
Oh.
get some rice and peas, some cabbage, steamed cabbage, and some callaloo.
Mhm.
There you go. That's
Mhm.
a plant-based
Yes.
meal right there that is good,
Mhm.
high protein. Like you're getting
Mhm.
a lot of benefits from that. For me, I did some green pea pasta, gluten-free pasta, and
Ooh.
I roasted some vegetables, some carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower, like the frozen bag
Mhm.
from
Yes.
Sam's, and I roasted those in the oven. And I threw them into my pasta, and I just used like some poppy seed dressing, a whole bunch of seasoning, and some
Yeah.
sriracha and black peas, and I just mixed
Yeah.
it all up.
Ooh.
I was like, so this
Mhm.
is gonna be kind of like my vegetable pasta salad. Or if I warm it up, it'll be like a little quick vegetable dish. But it was
See?
so good whether I had it
Yes.
cold or whether I had it hot
Mhm.
today. And I'm like, man, I'm on to something. But it's just taking what you already know from certain things. Because I used to be a tuna salad girl, a pasta tuna
Mhm.
salad girl. It's just taking other ingredients and going with what you know and recreating it. I didn't need to throw no relish into it. You know what I'm saying?
That.
It was
Mhm.
savory all by itself. So with my crock pot, I did
That.
like, I think it was like a spaghetti sauce, like a
Mhm.
natural type of spaghetti sauce with mix like the corn, the peas, the carrots, the frozen vegetables
Yeah.
with some
Yeah.
potatoes and some mushrooms. I just gonna call
Ooh.
that my own little vegetable soup, but I just threw it all
Yeah.
in the crock pot while the Dallas Cowboys was playing yesterday with the Philadelphia
Mhm.
Eagles, and I
Mhm.
let that
Mhm.
thing cook overnight, and I'll eat it either tonight or I'll wait and eat it tomorrow. But it's all about simple meal prepping just to make sure you have food. But what I was really craving yesterday was a sub. Like I used to love
Mhm.
Subway. So I
Yeah.
really wanted
Yeah.
a good sub. So I was like, what am I going to do? I need to, find a good gluten-free bread. And I did. I found one that was in Sprouts, and they always say go with the bread that's in the refrigerated section. And I made
Mhm.
sure, like, I
Right.
checked the ingredients to find as many that were as natural as possible. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with the organic Brianna's Dijon honey mustard. I'm gonna do the honey mustard as my mayonnaise, which I know, I don't
Yeah.
eat mayonnaise
Yeah.
anymore. And I'm gonna season it up, put some garlic, onion powder. Like I love putting seasonings on my bread because when the gluten is
Yeah.
missing, you gotta come with something else that's good because you're gonna know that gluten
That's
is
right.
not in there because
Yeah.
it makes bread
That's right.
taste totally
Mhm.
different. So you gotta elevate it. You have to
You have
elevate it.
to.
So I'm
Mhm.
elevating my bread. I toasted it. I put my Dijon honey mustard. I elevated with the seasoning, and I just started lowering it with shredded
Mhm.
lettuce,
Yeah.
bell peppers, pickles, mushrooms. I think I
Ooh,
even had some Wonder eggs, the hard-boiled vegan Wonder eggs. I put one of those
I
on
haven't
there.
tried those yet.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Drizzled it with a little bit of the mango vinaigrette from Brianna's. Seasoned the
Ooh.
top up with just a little bit more seasoning. With some black salt. I put some black salt on it.
I
Cut that
I
thing
bought
in
some
half.
black salt. Yeah.
Girl, black salt is a game changer too. You missing eggs? Crack
I
that
ha
black salt over some cucumbers on your salad. You wouldn't even know that you don't even have your eggs on it no more.
Wow.
That black salt to me, I said game changer, was a life changer because I can't go back to the eggs, and I love eggs. I love eggs.
Mhm.
But that black salt, I don't know what kind of black salt you got, but the one that I grind and shake all over it, that black salt, Coach Wells.
Wow. Okay, because I haven't tasted it yet, but I do have it.
You
I
can put
got
it
it
on your
from an
cucumbers. You
Indian
can
store. Yeah.
anything. Yeah, don't make it
Oh,
like it's regular salt because it's not regular salt. It's going to give you that egg type of flavor. So whatever you want
okay.
eggy, breakfast potatoes. Breakfast potatoes. So potatoes,
Mhm.
mushrooms. You were talking about the cocoa aminos before, right?
Okay.
Let's do
Uh-huh.
some onions and mushrooms with the cocoa aminos. Throw in, saute that up. Onions, mushrooms, bell peppers, whatever you want to. Go ahead and make your breakfast potatoes. You can throw them in the air fryer. You can put them on the pan, on the stove.
Mhm.
But potatoes, topped with that mushroom, onions, bell peppers. You crack that black salt over those potatoes. It was as if you had the potatoes and eggs that go along with those vegetables when you're talking about
Okay.
a good thing. Like you, uh, I don't know. I just want you to
Look.
continue to do what you're doing. And you said you was missing
Yeah.
out on breakfast. I just want you to know if you had onions, mushrooms, bell peppers with those cocoa aminos, you could have sauced that up with some potatoes or chopped some potatoes on up. And
That's
man, crack
right.
that black salt over those potatoes, and you would have not known that you didn't have the eggs in that potato to go along with those sauteed vegetables
Wow.
for your breakfast. And if you wanted to throw that in your wrap, throw it in your wrap, and you just got you a breakfast burrito or
Okay.
taco. I did
Yeah.
the same thing
Yeah.
with some corn tortillas before. I mean, it was my mouth is watering again. So
Good. Good.
I don't
Mhm.
want to hold you too long. But when it comes to mindset and compassion towards others, what ways do you believe that a plant-based lifestyle connects you to broader concepts of mindfulness and compassion? Because it's not just about food.
No, it's not. But that's interesting how you said that. And we talk about, eating healthy and all this, and having this plant-based lifestyle, but the benefits you get from it as far as, like being more compassionate, because the vegetables are speaking to your DNA. Like,
Mhm.
it's more so, like, it gets deeper than just, what we're eating. They're communicating with your cells, right? And turning off certain things. It's it can really get deep. And that's how I see it. Before, just going by, what tastes good, was eating the chicken and stuff like that. But now I know that I like, at this point in my life, I need it for other things to also work in my life. Being an entrepreneur and having the stamina and working at a higher level than most people, like, I don't need to crash, right? Like, like my brain, I'm on, right? I'm up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, right? So having that healthy, balance of the way I eat carries me and helps me to be able to, sustain my energy throughout the day, because I need it, right? Like,
You do.
I have to be able to function at this high level, and I need my brain to be able to process information rather quickly, and to learn skills and be able to communicate to people. And by having that plant-based diet, is only a plus for you. Only a plus.
I'm glad you hit on that, and I hope no one missed that. Um, being plant based, being intentional about consuming so many fruits and vegetables
Mhm,
regularly and daily, it definitely puts you at a higher level of functioning.
mhm,
Not
mhm,
only that, but like you said, energy. You need that energy, you need that stamina, you need that focus. I've seen it in my students when and I'm that teacher. Before I was that teacher because I knew they liked the snacks. I knew they liked the candy. I have yet to buy a bag of candy for my kids because I know that is not what's helping them. I know how
right,
harmful sugar can be. So when I have a pack of nuts, and I make sure they're not allergic to nuts,
mhm,
nuts or like a probiotic snack from Sam's that
yeah,
come up with like the dried fruit and the different types of nuts.
mhm,
And I say, man, that was
mhm,
an awesome job. You answered that, or they did something. I'll be like, I don't have no candy, but this is all I got. Do you think you want this? It's
yeah,
a healthy snack. And they'll be like, yeah. And I toss it to them and they'll bust it down and they like it. And sometimes it's not thinking that kids just want the candy, they just want the junk.
right,
It's some of them like good healthy snacks
mhm,
too, if you give them
mhm,
that
mhm.
option to consume them.
Give them that
Um,
option. That's right.
Exactly. And I feel like people don't understand. Like I can go to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning and I can still be
Mhm,
more vibrant at 8:30 in the morning in a group of sixth
mhm,
graders at 36, about to be 37, than they are. And I hadn't even had my juice yet. And I may or may not
yeah,
have gotten in my 2 to 4 miles with Spencer that morning because
mhm,
I know my lifestyle is totally different from theirs. And when you really start looking at the power of food, you can see how it really shifts and elevates in different aspects of your life. Not only
mhm,
that, but we talked about compassion, right? We just talked about mindfulness and compassion, like being able to be present for other people and what they're going to, and not allowing it to get in you or weigh you all the way down, is because you are already operating at a higher level. So you already
mhm,
are able filter and defend and protect and maintain certain boundaries because you have a higher belief for yourself. You're affirming
mhm,
different things about yourself because you're constantly making higher decisions about yourself, that you're able to love more than just yourself. You're able to extend and be there for other people without it taking you down too. So I
right,
just love that there's a special power in it that some people don't realize. And you tend to find less toxic plant-based people because they're intentional about minimalizing the toxic things that
mhm,
they're consuming
mhm.
in whatever format they get, whether it's in their mind or whether it's in their mouth. So I feel like that's a big thing. And I think Spencer is saying amen to that.
I love
He's
it.
doing all of that. So we're just gonna let Spencer get in on that action.
Mhm.
Um,
That's right.
but before we wrap up, I kind of want to talk because we were just talking about students. So my last two questions.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have a daughter, and we talked
Mm-hmm.
before about menstrual health. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed in 2020 with stage 4 endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome, as well as finding two fibroids. Sorry. Two fibroids, and then adenomyosis on the left side, which is this endometriosis in that uterine wall, that muscle,
Mm-hmm.
pelvic
Mm-hmm.
wall. Most of the research says that it's inflammation that's causing a lot of these diagnoses.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at inflammation, I see a lot of dairy. I see a lot
Mm-hmm.
of sugar that causes inflammation. When I see students in my classroom who are sick, nauseous, feel bad, and I say, well, is your period on? And they say yes. And then I ask, well, did you eat any cheese, milk, ice cream, candy the day before or something like that? And it's a yes. And I know that it's not always your food source, but
Mm-hmm.
it makes me think if we started to embrace different food choices for kids, because I also do lunch duty every day and I can see what they're serving in the cafeteria, and I can
Mm-hmm.
only imagine why they're hurting even when their period is not on. What changes do you feel like we should or could be doing to better the experience for youth when it comes to eating more plant-based meals? Not making them
Mm-hmm.
all plant-based, but consuming
Right.
more fruits and vegetables regularly in hopes that it starts to decrease the disparities that have been plaguing their families and their communities.
Yeah. It's we can make it normal, right? We can start to make it normal in our households and not really making a big deal out of it. So for me, like when I make my meals, because my daughter, she, will eat, what my husband will eat for dinner, and I have my own meal. However, I don't push her, but she always wants to taste my food. And then she'll say, "Oh, this is so good." So that thing, okay, do you want half? And she's like, "Yeah, I wanna, can you make me another one?" "Yeah, I can make you another one." Okay. So just like that, not beating it into them, or like making a like say if you make muffins out of the juice pulp that you use, that's another way to do it, right? Just sneaking in there, until they can make, because when the children are older, usually they make the decisions for themselves. But when children are young, I mean, hey, that'll be all they know if we're
Agreed.
introducing. But make it normal, make it normal,
I
make it
love that.
normal. Yeah, make it normal.
I love that. Just normalize eating more plant-based foods.
Mhm.
It's just as simple as that. And you don't have to complicate it. And it's
No.
not again, it's not trying to replace, it's called embrace. We're embracing higher nutritional content meal options.
Yes.
And it doesn't, and it could be every meal, it could be every other meal, it could be one meal a day.
It could be,
But at
yeah,
the end of the day,
1 meal
we're
a
being
week,
intentional
just introducing that. Yeah, that's a good
slowly
point.
but surely. Because I
Mhm,
love seeing some of the content creators making food for their babies, for their children that are plant-based. Because again, that's all they're going to ever know. And a lot of times in some families, that's all their children have ever known. And then when they get out and they start getting older and they want to McDonald's, or they want some, I think it was My Vegan Kitchen Life. So if you want to go back and listen to
mhm,
that episode, she talked about pretty much having that lifestyle for her children. And then when they wanted to try different foods, they would, and then they would get so sick and not feel as excited about it. But she allowed them to kind of navigate what it is that they wanted to eat. And I love that. But at first, that gave them the foundation. The foundation was plant-based. And it's never too late to make that switch or start to normalize being able to consume more fruits, more vegetables that you know are going to be beneficial for your children, because you don't want to set them up to consistently be consuming things that you know eventually their future self is not necessarily going to appreciate. So I love the fact that you said that. Just normalize it. Normalize consuming more plant-based foods. That's it. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. That part. And just, yeah, I mean, you said it. Just having snacks on hand, which you have
That
in your
doesn't have to be
purse, right?
candy.
Yeah.
Get them excited
And
about a fruit. Get them excited
if
about a
they're
smoothie
hungry,
instead of a milkshake.
they want
Get them excited
that.
about a juice instead of a snow
Mhm.
cone. Like, just
Mhm.
getting them excited about consuming something that's of higher nutritional value, that's going to help them feel better, help them have better bowel movements, help them have
Yeah.
better menstrual
Mhm.
experiences. So I like that.
Mhm.
Just normalize plant-based food. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
this long drawn out big
No.
ordeal, or
Mm.
something that needs to go viral. Just normalize plant-based eating.
Yeah.
I like.
And be creative. Be creative with it.
But when are we not? Like, we are rarely not creative. Like, look at how we used to eat hot dogs every now and then. And you said use what we got. It used to be that piece of that white bread with the hot dog on the side. You throw that ketchup on it. We ate it. No one said I can't eat a hot dog without buns. I cannot.
Yeah. Mhm.
No, that is not what we did. Like,
Mhm.
we've been
No.
creative. We've been an innovative group of people. So it doesn't stop us from that.
Right.
And just
Mhm.
like they said before, we've been a farming people before, where we
Mhm.
produced our own foods and things of that nature, and herbs and spices. So all it is getting back to our roots, or
Getting
tapping
back.
back into places that are still in those spaces in order to be able to consume that. And then my
That's
last
right.
question, and you can change
Mhm.
it because I know I've asked this question before, but I'm going to add a little twist to it because I'm not quite sure what all you had on that plate before. So if you could have a meal with any historical figure, if you could have a plant-based meal with any historical figure, who would it be, and what would be on that empowered plate, Coach Wells?
Wow. Okay. Any historical figure, alive or dead,
Any historical
right?
figure. Any.
Um,
Yes, ma'am.
Marcus Aurelius. I believe he was a Roman emperor or king.
Okay.
He wrote meditations that I read a couple of months ago. And the meal of choice would be like like I always go to a huge salad, right? With colors, right? Radishes and just all the colors, right? And then have watermelon, right? That's the thing. I would love to pick his brain, right? Love to, just hear him speak about life. And for a person to write, and I have to look this up, for a person to write a book like that, and it to be like every year to be one of the most best-selling books, he had to be vegetarian or vegan. Like, he had to be. Like, really, I'm gonna look that up. But yeah, so that's what I would say today. My person. I
Okay.
don't know who my person
I
was
didn't hear
last.
anything about the lion's mane steak. So y'all not
Now,
eating.
lion manes, yeah, like
I didn't
the
hear it. I
only
just heard
reason
a
why
colorful salad and
I
watermelon. Y'all not having a steak?
no, and you know why? I said that it's very
Ooh.
labor intensive. It's very labor intensive.
I didn't say you had to
So
make it. I just said, what would
look,
y'all eat?
okay, so if we had one of the servants to make the steak, that's what I would do. Okay. But if it's just myself and Marcus eating,
You had your
like,
own
I don't want to be
plant-based chef.
distracted. We're just eating salad and talking and
No,
vibing
you had your own
and
plant-based chef, Coach Wells. You had your own plant-based chef. That's what you had.
absolutely.
You had your own plant-based chef. I guess I should have said that
Okay.
at the beginning. There's no
Then we
limits
would
on what it was that you would create. You have your own Black plant-based chef to create
oh,
whatever
come on, sis.
plate that you would have with your historical figure. Hit us with your
Okay.
plate now that you
So
know it's
okay,
not
so
on
here
you to make the plate.
okay, so it's not on me. Okay.
It's
So
not on
one
you.
great meal that I've had was a crab cake. I haven't had it recently, but it's a crab cake made out of carrot pulp. Okay. So I would have a crab cake with just like a big huge salad with like all the things in it. And okay, yes, I would definitely have lion's mane, like a thick lion's mane steak. Okay. Thick.
We got
And
potatoes with
then
it or no?
no potatoes. And
Cauliflower
then
rice or no?
no, no. And
Okay.
watermelon with seeds. That's it.
Always. Always.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That would be
Now
my
you're
meal.
talking. Now you're talking. So would you suggest anyone who's on a plant-based diet or transitioning to a plant-based diet, or someone who just really wants to learn more about meditation, read this book that you're talking about?
Sure. I would. The book is it's a huge staple in like the intellectuals, I guess. But it's like a beautiful book just about life.
Mhm.
And I would recommend it. And it's called Meditations. However, he wrote the book actually to himself. Um, so I don't know if the book was actually meant for the public, but it ended up being published. But I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful read, but definitely, I would suggest it. And also go ahead and just try it out. Like you don't have to commit, just give it a try, right? Just try it out.
I
And
love
then you
it.
be the judge, like when did I feel my best? When I had, the chicken, or if you had, say your mushrooms, like how did I actually feel?
Mm.
You know?
Great. And sometimes
So
I
I
feel like it takes giving yourself a little bit of time. Don't just judge
Mhm.
everything based off of one meal. Give yourself a length of time to see. Give yourself 30 days, 60 days, even maybe 90 days of truly
Yeah.
embracing, not trying to replace, but embracing more plant-based
Mhm.
meals, and just start seeing if your body changes, seeing if your energy
Mhm.
changes, see if your mood changes, see what
Mhm.
type of changes evolve, how you even think about food or how you consume food, what your relationships start to look like. But
Mhm.
just try it for a period of time, not just one experience in a restaurant with one dish and be like, oh, this was nasty,
Right.
or
Right.
try some vegan processed cheese or meat and be like, oh, this is nasty. Don't go that route. Don't go that
That's
route.
right.
Don't go that route. Just really
Mhm.
give yourself 30, 60, 90 days at best to truly see how your body, how your life shifts and changes by being intentional on consuming more fruits and vegetables, and just kind of listen to it and
Mhm.
rock it out. That's
Absolutely.
what I would say about it. But
Yeah.
Coach Wells, another absolute pleasure hosting you here on the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. I absolutely love having you here on the show. I love your wealth of knowledge. I love that, you are just open and honest, and you're on your journey yourself, and you're not trying to make yourself out to be somebody that you're not. You talked
Mhm.
about being plant-based, you talked about going back, and now you're back on that plant-based journey, how you're feeling. And I absolutely love that your daughter wants to have half of your food, and is excited about eating because it's good. And that's what it all
Mhm.
boils down. It's not the fact that it's fruits and vegetables, it's the fact that it's good food that you're eating. And I can only imagine what her life is going to be like, and how you're trying to change the trajectory of health disparities in your family just by seeing your daughter excited and embracing the deliciousness that you
Yes.
have going on in
Yes.
your house.
Yes.
Like, I absolutely love that for you, but most importantly, I'm loving that for her, because you're normalizing eating
Yeah.
plant-based food in Black families, and that's
Yeah.
what we need if we are trying to decrease these disparities out of our families, out of our bloodlines, but most importantly, out of our communities. So I thank you for that. I
Yeah.
really do. So go ahead, tell
And
the people. Oh, you got
I
something? Go ahead.
yes, I have something for you. Just no, thank you for having this platform for us. And like I knew who to call, or I know, who to contact. And that was you, to tell you like, hey, I'm doing this. Right. So thank you so much. Because having that support and, just talking it out, is really a huge help. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. It's definitely appreciated, probably more than you know.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
But
It's my
those who
pleasure.
would like to find me, it's very easy to find me. I am at AlyciaWells.com. I am a mindset coach. However, I help entrepreneurs to overcome, just the entrepreneur journey where we're mainly overwhelmed, right? So I teach entrepreneurs to think and have a boss mindset, and to like overcome the overwhelm and to earn money without showing up. So that's what I do. So please look me up. And that's it for today. Still on that journey, and I'm going to keep going.
Man, I appreciate it. Again, Giovanni, your host of the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. If you're not already following on YouTube, where you can see the video version of the podcast, it is Forward Vibrations 2347. Please like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Coach Wells' first episode, and then come back and listen to this one, just so you can get a better picture of who all she is and all the wealth of knowledge that she dropped in that previous episode, and come back and just see her, because you're seeing her journey as well continue to evolve. And I am just so grateful that she is choosing to evolve with me on this path as well. And then on Facebook, got a group, Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives Healing Community, a private Facebook group. If you're interested in tapping into some free challenges and getting some knowledge and just wanting a group, a tribe to be around, tap into the private Facebook group. We're on TikTok as well as Instagram, _vibrations on TikTok and Instagram, as well as the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives page on Instagram. Like the business page on Facebook, Forward Vibrations as well. But if you are looking for a healthy habits and lifestyle coach, and you feel like you're ready to start making a change, you can definitely as well reach out to me. Let me know. I'm willing and interested. I help women suffering from chronic illnesses like endometriosis and PCOS heal through the transformative power of food. And I'm just so excited to be a beacon of light, as well as a motivator to seeing you live a more vibrant, loving, and peaceful life. So until next time, be well. And thanks for vibing with us, y'all.
That's what's up.